Well, I've ditched the crampons, and ever since I've done that I've been shifting at a fair pace. I was getting a bit anxious that I'd bitten off more than I could chew, but now that the sun's worked on it for a while, it's still a bit crusty, but it's not as slippy as it was, so I'm okay just to do without the crampons on the flat bits and get some more speed to get around this enormous glen. Well, I was just taking in the view and I heard a slight hissing behind me, and it turned out it's bits of this cornice coming down here with the sun on it. And it just goes to show how unstable all that is. All of this sort of stuff. Once it keeps the sun on it, then eventually it's just a matter of time before it all comes down. Sat here, I can't quite believe these conditions. They do happen in Scotland. This sort of thing, this sort of alpine conditions do occur. They're just quite infrequent. So when it does come along, as I'm always saying, you have to really grab the chance, because it could be a very long time before it comes back again. But you won't be able to see it on this phone, but I'm just sitting here marvelling at how far I can see. I mean, all the way over there's East and West Lomond in Fife, but even beyond them I can see the Pentlands, I can see Scald Law, I can see the Morphett Hills and the Lammermuir Hills the other side of the Firth of Forth. It's just amazing. This feels really, really remote, very, very wild. There's no one here. All I can see is a herd of 50 or so deer up there, maybe 2 dozen over there. It's a big wildlife spectacle. I feel like I'm in Svalbard or something, or parts of somewhere in the Arctic anyway. With a landscape like this, you could easily think you were. But yeah, I'm feeling quite humbled actually. I mean, I have been anyway today. I usually am in the company of grand landscapes, but this one, because this is quite self-contained, it's like a big bowl in between one Munro there, another over there. There's not really much over there. I don't think many people really come here. Usually it's just be one big grassland, but with snow down, it does feel very, very Arctic. It gives you a glimpse of the world that is lying a couple of thousand miles to the north maybe, but it's here in Scotland, and it's all just 90 minutes, 50 something miles, I think, 60 something miles from where I stay in Fife. Incredible. Just really consider in Fife, there's no snow left. There's a tiny bit along some of the stone walls in the hills, in the Lomond Hills, but it seems really strange to have come not far north at all and to be in a completely different world. It's amazing. We're so lucky in this country to have this kind of thing within easy access of big cities. It's amazing. This is probably the most Arctic-like experience I've had in Scotland, apart from obviously the ones where I'm being battered by gales and spindrift and ice and my face is freezing and my nose is getting frostnipped. Yeah, that's definitely Arctic, but this feels, because of the wildlife that's here and because there's nobody else here, it feels much more wild and remote and rewarding, I suppose, than it does when I've been up in the Cairngorms near Aviemore, up by the Northern Corries and Cairngorm and Ben Macdui, which are big and grand, and look the part, but they're very, very busy. And especially on a day like today, even if it was a weekday, they'd be very busy. So to come somewhere like this and get your own little corner of the Arctic, all for you. That's really, really rather special. Just wish I could convey a sense of scale to this. I mean, it probably doesn't come across at all. Oh, for any snowboarders among you, that would make a great half pipe. And that's curious. It's almost like a start of a glacier. It's funny. Wow, everything's got this icy sheen to it. Well, there's Cairngorms Glen from the other side, and that's a hill I came up this morning. I went all the way around the head of the glen and round and back down here. Oh, I don't know what time it is, but I think it must be about 6 or 7 hours since I left, I think. It's still so warm. Well, I've just spotted an avalanche, one that's happened fairly recently, by the looks of it. See, there's lots of blocks, sort of bluey white blocks, looking a bit grubby because it's fallen from here. Not very big, but big enough. Conveniently, just to highlight what a vast landscape this is and what profusion of wildlife there is, despite what you might think for these conditions. Another herd of deer has just come into view, crested over this rise, right on the horizon. Oh, I don't know, it's just a long line of deer on a mission to get somewhere, all in single file. Oh, another herd of in excess of 100 deer. Like camels, just sort of creeping across a white desert, intent on going wherever they're going to, but Lord knows where. It's quite extraordinary to see so many herds. Oh, I found another set of deer tracks, and an enormous herd of deer. All of this. And I found this as well, just curious. Blood, presumably. Don't know if one of them was successfully shot by stalkers, who knows. Can't see any vehicle tracks to show that it was taken off the hill if that was the case. So maybe just one of them's just injured somehow. That's Cairngorms Glen disappearing from view now. That's probably the last view I'll get of it now, because it's the final stretch. Well, as you can see, almost down back into Glen Isla. The car is over there somewhere by the conifer plantation, and as you can see, it's in the shade. Having spent the whole day in sunshine, being warm, I'm actually not looking forward to crossing over into the dark, because I suspect it's not going to be half as comfortable as it is now. Rather symbolically, it's the bridge that marks crossing from sunshine into shade. Oh, I don't want to. Colder, but it's amazing how quickly the snow firms up once the sun goes in. I was sinking and getting wet over there, but this is dry and taking my weight, which makes for a nice easy walk back to the car, albeit cold. That's pretty much it. An amazing day. Really, really, really satisfying. Just thought that if you're someone who's watching this in North America or continental Europe or something like Norway or something like that, and you're probably wondering why on earth I'm making all the fuss about blue sky and snow and not much wind. But anyone who lives here, or anyone who's walked here, I suppose, knows just how precious and rare conditions like this really are. So you really have to enjoy them while you can. And it's like an injection. I've got my fix now, my sunny, snowy fix. That should last me at least a week.